I could just picture it last night. David!
Yeah.
David, you see what Brooklyn has done? David, call the PR!
Welcome back to Nothing But Football, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, no.
That is definitely going in the intro. We were chatting a little bit about the David Beckham, or the Beckham situation at the moment. That was fucking amazing.
That was so good.
As you can see, joining me today, we're filming this of the week where we shot last week's video that you saw, but I'm actually, as of right now, doing something that the Beckhams love doing, skiing.
Nice.
Never done that before. Val Thorens, you're going to see me hit those slopes, baby. Henry, you've gone skiing before.
You also love talking to your PR agent about, controlling your...
controlling the narrative.
Honestly, we're putting out fires left, right, and centre with me. Jesus.
Chelsea Zach.
You'll be reading my Instagram story tomorrow. Zach's been lying to me this whole time.
Henry did a weird dance with me at my wedding. It was just laughing at someone's family.
It is objectively quite sad. I just can't imagine the scenes in Shares Beckham.
That was so funny.
But if you would like to see more of Henry do Victoria Beckham impressions, we can bring that to you. One whole podcast. Henry Hill, any tips for me for skiing?
Just back yourself, really. Is this your first time?
First time, yeah. Heard a lot about pizza. Pizza! What? Which is like when you put your skis
yeah. Of course.
Is that like stop?
Stop, yeah.
Nah, listen, Zach. When just
enjoy the ride.
Just enjoy it, mate. It's beautiful. Don't hurt yourself because we can't have this, money maker.
Exactly.
The PR team would lose their heads, that's for sure. Ben, how are you? You ever done skiing before?
I'm good. No, I actually haven't. No.
Maybe we'll do a little Nothing But Football ski holiday one day.
That'd be class.
Yeah.
That'd be absolutely class.
Indeed.
A live Nothing But Football from the après ski.
Oh, now we're talking.
That would go off.
If you guys run any après skis and would like to see that happen, please reach out. As you guys can see by the title of this video, we're going to be talking about managers, and we're going to be ranking them. Obviously, there are 20 of them in the Premier League. There were more managers that have managed in the Premier League so far this season. However, they are all have been sacked. So we won't be talking about the likes of Enzo Maresca. We won't be talking about the likes of Amorim. And so maybe actually we'll touch upon them within the segments of those managers that are currently there, because we can't really talk fully about like Carrick, can we? Though he did have a great managerial masterclass against Pep Guardiola. What we're going to be doing is ranking them from 20 to 1. There's probably a few obvious candidates. Pep Guardiola is probably going to be quite high. But for the rest of them, it's going to be very, very interesting.
I thought you meant rank them out of 20, and I was like...
17.5. Their substitutes at the 60th minute are just not good enough.
Yeah, brings them down to a 60.
Brings them down to a 60, yeah, indeed. So without further ado, let's do it by kicking off from the bottom of the table. We work our way up to the top at the very end. But let's kick things off with Rob Edwards at Wolves. Interesting manager. Handsome guy. I thought he did a decent job at Luton when he was here in the Premier League. I think what we're going to do as well is let's try and talk about it mainly this season, because I think it makes some more interesting narratives, especially the further up we go. But of course, we can chuck in a little bit about what they've done previous as well. But Rob Edwards came into a very awful situation, let's be frank, at Wolves. Has been unbeaten so far in 2026. I feel like he's not a bad manager. I just feel like the Wolves side is just not good.
Yeah.
We spoke about that previously, transfer business-wise previously. Is it harsh to just put him at like 20th?
Yeah, I mean...
Are there worse managers than him in the Prem?
Let's put him there for now, and then let's work our way up.
Place. They are bottom of the league, and they could potentially break Derby's record. But, he's clearly been able to galvanise something. Like you said, they're unbeaten this calendar year so far. There has been an upturn in their performances. And I think he's kind of an inspiring character. I think, he was... I think people sort of, when he came to Luton, I think people started to really warm to him. I think that's so.
The only reason I'd say he's better than Scott Parker, let's say, is because he's also led a team out of the Championship. I know Scott Parker's done that as well. Who has objectively done better in the Premier League, Burnley this season or his Luton side? And I think his Luton side... Well, they were in a position to stay up. They were 8 games. They really kind of choked, I would say, that Luton team. But there was a point where that Luton team looked like they were going to stay up. He then went to Middlesbrough and he got them up to second. Like, I think what he did to Middlesbrough is not good.
Pretty shit.
Yeah, I think it's quite. To go,
Brings him down a
it's
few
all about
points just for,
family.
like, loyalty.
It's all about
Thought you were better
family.
than that.
Yeah, I think he really shafted Middlesbrough, and I hope they come up anyway. I think the new guy they got in is doing okay, but so I would maybe say that Rob Edwards has got. It's not much in it with him and Scott Parker for the bottom two.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
Joint bottom?
And Parker's not necessarily had like incredible times in the Premier League. You
Yeah.
know, that classic Fulham
Right.
squad that's mentioned as well.
Yeah, how did they
that
go
he
down?
That he took them down. He was, I guess, a younger manager, a little bit more inexperienced as he is now.
Yeah.
It's funny because he's proven, I think, in the Championship to be a good manager. Like when he can get the teams playing the football that he wants them to play. Like ideally, Scott Parker, what I think he did with Burnley last season, making them defensively strong, was really, really good. I mean, it's not necessarily transferred into.
I was
the
going to say
Premier
they've
League
conceded
this
more
year.
goals than Wolves.
They have, yeah, they have. But there are times I watch Burnley and I think like there is a good team here. Like they've been unfortunate in some games. That Manchester United game, I think, as well.
Did all right against Liverpool at the weekend.
Did all right against Liverpool at the weekend. Like they've been. I feel like I've seen them a few times be quite unlucky. With some of their fixtures. I think back to the Old Trafford one where they should have probably at least got something from that.
Minute, wasn't it?
Yeah. But I'd be happy to put those two at the bottom too. I'd maybe kind of say, look, you can flip flop between them.
Yeah.
We're going to have Rob Edwards in our position, bottom position, but it is probably going to be between him and Parker. Then I think it gets quite interesting because our managers from there are Nuno at West Ham currently. Sean Dyche, who is at Forest, Daniel Farke at Leeds. Those are our three, our 18th, 17th, and 16th position. Now, it's interesting to see how many of these are going to be comparable to where they are in the league. I mean, maybe a couple of other interesting names as well that we should probably chuck in there is the likes of Carrick, is the likes of
Keith Andrews,
Liam Rosenior. Like these guys are brand new to the league.
Yeah.
I mean, we are doing it based off this season more so than anything. So especially the likes of Carrick and Rosenior is a little bit harder to comment on. But I mean, we can
I don't think you can just base it off the seasons like that because like Sean Dyche is an established Premier League manager.
Okay.
Sean Dyche has done great things in this league. Like Sean Dyche is above Daniel Farke, for example. He's done a lot more. Dyche has achieved more than Keith Andrews has in his career. He's achieved more than Michael Carrick certainly has. I think it's really I appreciate that Dyche doesn't play a particularly attractive style of football. He's down at Forest. Like, he did all right at Everton for a little bit, sort of helped steady the ship with Everton. I think it's unfair to include Dyche.
No, I think you can
among some of these names.
I think you can bring in definitely what they've done previously. Like as you said, he had Burnley in the Premier League for multiple
Yeah, got him into Europe.
Exactly. He kept Everton up as well.
Yeah.
Like that, especially in an Everton side that were very, very poor. And then David Moyes.
Dyche is better than Regis Lebris, for example, in my opinion. It's just like Sunderland are having a historically good season.
Another couple of years.
But how much of what Regis Lebris is doing is is helping Sunderland do that? Like I think it's quite high as well.
No, I think I don't.
Yeah,
I don't know.
And let's be
if he was
honest,
a crap manager, they wouldn't be nice.
This is a Sean Dyche who previously has said like, give me good. Like everyone talks about my football, but give me like the same team as say Man City or whatever, and I'll be able to do that too. His Forest side aren't bad. He has.
I mean, they've not been great.
No. I mean, player-wise, player quality-wise,
this is the best. This is the best squad Dyche has ever had.
Agreed. And he's not like
they've won one Premier League game in the last.
Precisely.
Oh, who they lost to?
He was almost going to get. There was rumours of him getting sacked after if they lost that game to West Ham. And I think obviously the last game they won in the Premier League before that was against Spurs, and we were absolutely dreadful. They lost away to Fulham, lost to City, lost to Everton, lost to Villa. And didn't really lay a glove on any of those teams. They've not been great, really, Forest under Dyche, to be honest. There was a nice like initial bounce. Obviously, they went and won away at Anfield. Okay. Got that point at home to Man United as well. And obviously, such a sea change in terms of style from Ange. But yeah, but you can't ignore Dyche's legacy as a manager, I suppose. He's
Just before we carry on with the podcast debate, we're just jumping in to say, if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channels. Of course, these videos are collaborated, Nothing But Football being the podcast channel, Ben's channel, Henry Hill's channel over there, and my second channel as well, More Zach Jello. Please subscribe to that for more content, to see more of us individually and together. And we'll see you guys. Nope, that's the end of the outro. But over to carry on with the podcast.
So do we think then 18th is Daniel Farke? Who I think has actually done a very good job this season once who's done a very good job in the last 2 months.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, I think it's harsh because then, like, Carrick and Rosenior do have to come into this. If we're ranking every Premier League manager now,
fair.
Daniel
I'd put Farke above. I don't know.
Carrick. I'll put Farke above Carrick. Farke has done more than Carrick has in his career.
Yeah,
Like, because I will support Michael Carrick, and I think that was
definitely
the appointment
something
I
there
thought.
with him.
But at the same time, he didn't get a Middlesbrough team promoted, whereas Farke has all, and that Middlesbrough team was better than some of the Norwich teams that we've seen over time. Yeah. So you have to put Carrick in at 18th on the basis of the lack of experience and the fact that, like, the one time he did have a project which could have got out of the Championship, even though he did establish a very good style of play.
Yeah.
I think he elevated a lot of the players under him, which is why I think that he'll be all right for United.
Yeah.
Daniel Farke, with 3 whatever promotions out of the Championship, deserves to be above him.
Also,
And
look at what he's delivered this season under huge amounts of pressure. The run that they've been on recently, where they've lost 1 in their last
They've been a joke.
9. I might be making it up. That came on the backdrop of him potentially being sacked if they could drop points against Chelsea and Liverpool, and he's really turned the ship around and got them 8 points above relegation. So I think Daniel Farke, let's put some respect on his name.
Yeah, by my own metric, by the way, I have basically Daniel Carrick has to be last because Rob Edwards did have a good start of the season at Middlesbrough, and then, like, what's he meant to do at Wolves? By my own metric, and Parker and him have both got teams promoted out of the Premier League, so he should technically be the worst manager.
Manchester Derby do anything, basically?
Yeah, well,
I'm happy. I think it's fine. I think it's a fair enough.
Carrick's not lost a game as a United interim manager, is he? When he came in the last time,
against good teams as well.
Yeah, again, he got a point. I think away at Chelsea, didn't he? Beat Arsenal.
Yeah, he did.
But again, it was a very different Arsenal team, and also, like, he clearly has an ability to galvanise players, and there's something there with his tactics, but. It's such a small sample size.
You make the decision what to do.
Carrick, you're going last, mate.
Okay, where's Rosenior going then?
I'm not sure. Genuinely not sure. Because I guess with Rosenior as well this season, like, he's a manager who's managing in Europe.
He's aging in Europe.
Did he actually say that?
Yeah, he did. He did.
Disappointing.
He's managed in Europe. Like, I don't think he's like Carrick, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean. Like, and I think he's got more experience than this season, especially, like, than Parker.
Yeah.
The thing is with,
and his Tranquil side were pretty good.
I think Rosenior could be a good manager in the Premier League, but I don't think you could.
Like, I'd be looking more around, like, you're looking at, like, Hurstler level. That's where I think Rosenior is.
Okay, so look, Hurstler, he's got St. Pauli out of the Bundesliga. Mm-hmm. Okay, and then since then he's done all right with Brighton.
He's flirted with it, isn't he? I think he's flattered to deceive a little bit at Brighton, to be honest.
Yeah. I think he's like he seems. People don't even really talk about him. It's not as if people go, "What he's doing at Brighton."
People only spoke about him last season because he was like an incredibly young manager, which I think still obviously has to be taken into account. He's still so young in his career.
I don't think he's done like a terrible job, and like that Brighton side is not like, for instance, the Brighton side now. Do you think that is the best Brighton side they've had in the last few years? I don't think it is.
No, but I think there's been moments where it's quite
when
clear
it
that he
was
can still
under
do
Zerbi,
more with this team.
But the Brighton side under Zerbi, when it was Caicedo, McAllister, like, that was a better Brighton side, I think.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Oh, this is so hard. Like Keith Andrews, what do you even say about that? I obviously know that they are in 7th right now, even though previously, a few months ago, it looked like they might be flirting with relegation. Is he doing a good job, or has he just continued the legacy of Thomas Frank's team that he left behind? Is this kind of like an Arne Slot situation? Because also he's had a player come back in Igor Thiago who is very good. They've made some smart, like Kelleher is obviously a fantastic keeper.
He has implemented. I think you could see his game slightly more than you could have with Frank, if that makes sense.
Do you think?
In terms of, I think he's more more defensive than someone like Frank was
but I don't think that means that you can see his identity more. I think I've said this before, I think Frank's identity is probably wrapped up in what Brentford's ambitions were. But I don't think it's like, oh, here are the clear differences.
But do you not think he went into that Brentford side and we've had them to go down. And I think he has had a big impact on the fact that they are so far, but you didn't have them 7th.
No,
right? Yeah,
no. Like, of course you can't ignore what Keith Andrews has done.
Super impressive.
But okay, let's see next season. And
No,
I really
for
hope
sure.
he does. I really hope he does well. I'm not.
Yeah.
This isn't me going. Oh, I can sit here in a year and say I told you so. I don't give
And
a
this
shit.
is where it gets tough because you do have to go like this is his first ever managerial job. Like
Yeah.
we can't be putting him above. Like this is where the debate between Sean Dyche comes in. You know, Sean Dyche right now is much lower than him, and I would say,
Yeah.
do we think that Forest have a better squad than Brentford?
Yes.
So does that not
Yeah,
maybe
and to be
suggest
fair,
that
like,
actually
again,
he's possibly better manager?
We can talk about him carrying on the legacy of Thomas Frank, but Thomas Frank's legacy was almost kind of not ripped up, but the fact that they had their best players leave essentially in the summer, and he had to kind of put. So Keith Andrews, I think, is such a difficult one to judge, but you can only really praise him for what he's done
Is it the
so
same as,
far.
like,
But
Regis
that doesn't
Lebris?
make him a better manager. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, but Regis Lebris has
I think we
obviously
need
got.
to see more from him to really put him
I
above
just
Dyche.
don't think.
I'd
I-
probably
I-
say that Regis Lebris is a better manager than Keith Andrews.
Yeah, I agree. He's got more experience and he's done more. Like,
Yeah.
I accept that Brentford are doing well right now, but I think it'd be hugely knee-jerk to suggest that this is because he could be.
Yeah.
He could be, but it would be hugely knee-jerk in this very tight table to suggest that Keith Andrews is one of the best managers in the Premier League. Like, I just don't. I think that's just unfair against the other managers.
Okay.
Yeah.
And he did. I know I'm going to get like slammed in the comments. He did have like a full pre-season. He did have like a full good chance of this. It's a good structure at Brentford's. I think it's fairly honest.
Probably
club.
also been in the pipeline for a while when you know how kind of Brentford operate, and you know I think at Brentford, the reason that they might be such a stable club, regardless of who the manager potentially is that that system just works. That environment they've created just does work.
Yeah,
I would be putting him down. I'd be putting him.
Is he above Daniel Farke?
I would say no. I think that obviously Brentford, what?
7. Yeah,
They're only
lot higher.
They're only,
than-
but that's only 8 points.
yeah, it's one of those.
8
seasons.
points is still a
It one of
decent
those
amount, but like,
seasons.
In 2 weeks, it could literally flip on its head.
yeah.
Okay, look, I understand. It's tough because I think even people at home will understand why there's
Yeah.
such a tough debate.
I think
there.
Daniel Farker's got to be above Keith Andrews.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay.
Daniel
so,
Farker.
I think Daniel Farke should be top 5. So-
No, you said it on me.
currently our bottom upwards is Michael Carrick, Edwards, Parker, Keith Andrew, Daniel Farke.
Can I just say that, and this is not me wishing any ill on Liam Rosenior or anything like that, but why is Liam Rosenior not being at the bottom or near the bottom? I know he's done okay at Strasbourg. He did okay at Hull.
Pretty well at Strasbourg.
Yeah, no, of course he has, but Michael
a team
Carrick
that would-
did pretty well at Middlesbrough.
But no, but we're on about a team who are in one of the most volatile leagues in Ligue 1, and they were predicted to be relegated when they came up.
I
And
think
he got them
he's
into
done.
European
I think he's
football.
done a
But
really
to-
good job.
Yeah, he's done a good job, but like to leapfrog all of those managers and all of a sudden just be considered
Well,
better
when
than,
Farke went to Mönchengladbach, he was gone in a year,
yeah. No, I know.
and that was his time in the big top league.
Rosenior has.
By the way, this is not me
No,
dismissing
I
Liam
understand.
Rosenior.
I understand your. I do understand your reasoning, and I'm like, this is why I'm not saying that he's better than Glasner or anything like that at all. But I do think he's probably better than Daniel Farke in the fact that he did take. And look, this is also a Strasbourg side that did get a lot of good players and young
Yeah.
players obviously brought in, but he beat Glasner's side in the Europa League with that Strasbourg team who were, as I said, predicted to get relegated the season before. Like, I don't think he's done and everywhere he's always gone. It's interesting that it's tough to look at his Derby days.
Oh, Derby
with
was
the
a
situation.
yeah,
And then
of
the
course.
whole one where the manager basically admitted that they just didn't like his football.
Yeah.
And so it's hard to maybe kind of brand that as like, well, you've got
I would say
to
our
call
next
that.
3 managers are Hertzler,
Frank.
Dyche. Sort of, well, as in this is
Oh,
the
sorry,
group.
did we not put Dyche? And
We've not put Dyche down yet.
what's the order again?
We've gone from Carrick, Rob Edwards, Scott Parker, Keith Andrew, Daniel Farke. And I also don't mind Hurstler, man.
I think Hurstler's
quite
probably
like
in this.
Hurstler.
What, as a manager? Or
Yeah,
like him in,
as a manager. I think
I think
he's
he's
some
all
really
right.
interesting
These
stuff.
are all good
like-
managers. I'm not
Yeah,
saying
no,
anything.
there's no
Yeah.
bad manager here.
I-
Like, again,
like-
as much as I want Spurs
Okay,
to sack
let's say
Frank,
tomorrow.
Frank is
Let's say
not a
tomorrow.
bad manager.
Both have. So let's do it this way. They're all managing a bog standard 10th place team. Okay, and this is interesting. I think
Fulham.
Fulham. Okay, sure. All right, sure. Let's say they're managing Fulham.
You're not wrong, but I
they're
didn't have
managing
to
Fulham.
say it.
Who out of Dyche, Hurstler, Rosenior, Frank gets the best out of that side? And it's a bit funny because also I do think like certain managers who manage better clubs or clubs with better talent will do better in those scenarios.
I wouldn't want.
Are we taking Fulham's squad here, or are we talking?
Yeah, let's say Fulham squad. Let's just say the 10th best side because I do think you could be a bit specific about like.
That's what I'm trying to work.
Let's just say they're a generic 10th place side. They've got a couple of dribblers. They've got a couple of big guys.
Okay, well, let's go through those managers then. Frank has shown a clear ability to punch above his weight and play a pragmatic style that can be exciting, play on the front foot, get fans on side, and improve attacking players to score a hell of a lot of goals.
Yeah,
and be defensively solid and hurt teams from set pieces. Sean Dyche
cannot do that at the big club.
No, but if we're talking about him going in at Fulham or Fulham, then I think that's where I don't think Frank's reputation as that level of manager will be harmed by what he's done at Tottenham. It's just that it's clear that he can't necessarily make the step up. So I think in that context, then Frank is a great fit for that hypothetical Fulham team.
Yeah.
Sean Dyche was the next one.
Yeah.
Sean Dyche, you could argue a lot of the same things, but not necessarily about maybe improving attackers in the same way that Frank has and scoring lots of goals and stuff. He'll keep you up. I think Frank has got a higher ceiling as a manager in that context than Dyche has.
Yeah.
I think Liam Rosenior would probably be similar to Frank in a sense of what he could achieve, but maybe in a slightly different way. I think it'd be probably more exciting. Well,
football might be a little bit better, per se.
And maybe he's brilliant work with young players and all that kind of stuff.
And Herzler's kind of doing that now with Brighton.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Herzler plays a very open brand of football that has worked with Brighton with the talented players they've got. It's also quite risky if you don't quite have the sort of players. And if you're at a club like Brighton where you know that constant funnel of recruitment is going to come through with these exciting young players and you know that's always going to be there, then you probably feel more open as a manager to kind of play your style of football. Whereas if you were at someone like a Fulham who maybe don't get the same backing in terms of the recruitment or don't recycle players enough to generate that revenue generate the transfer of revenue to then go and reinvest in good players. So it's so much context here.
A lot of muchness as well. I think it's like marginal between a lot of these guys. By that metric,
I'd probably have Thomas Frank the highest out of those four guys.
By that metric, I think Sean Dyche is the lowest.
But then you can't. How can you have Rosenior above Dyche? Can you?
I mean, he has done more. He has done more. I think on
Rosenior.
He's managed in Europe. Like, I guess he did take Burnley to
Europe.
But
this is the Premier League. Like, you can't have Rosenior
He's
above
managing
Dyche.
in the Conference League. But Dyche got
Burnley
into the Europa League.
Yeah,
I guess I know it didn't go past the qualifiers, but I mean, that is a different kettle of fish. That is ultimately.
I think Rosenior is. I think there is genuine scope for him to potentially be an England manager one day. I think there is that pipeline there. I think he is. I like the way that he looks to set up his teams and stuff like that. I don't know loads and loads about him, but I don't think you can have him above Sean Dyche, personally. And I think Sean Dyche's football is fucking archaic and boring. But
going
it
works.
works.
Yeah, there's a sort of all right, go on then. Put Regis Labrie as well.
Out of those four managers, that's the thing. I think Frank would probably be above. I'd still, as much as I want him sacked, I'd still have Frank above Edwards and Regis Labrie.
So is it Regis Labrie next then, above Daniel Farke? Or is it Rosenior?
No, I think what Regis Labrie's done as much as Rosenior because he got his Lorient team, which less resources.
Got a team promoted out of the Championship into the Premier League.
So who is above Daniel Farke?
All right, Rosenior then.
Yeah.
And then it's Sean Dyche we're going for.
And then
Herzler's above Sean Dyche?
Great question.
Sean Dyche had a bloody good podcast so far.
Yeah.
He's surviving every round, isn't he? He's just
just keep surviving.
Just keep coming up.
I'm Sean Dyche.
He's trying to take this Forest side down.
Thing is, I wouldn't.
He genuinely can take this Forest side down.
I wouldn't employ him. Yeah, right. Let's put Sean Dyche in.
You were saying that he's done a good job at Forest a minute ago.
No, I wasn't. I was arguing the opposite. Did you think I was saying he was doing a job?
Yeah.
No,
and then I said you look at his recent run; they've been actually really poor.
No, I was saying the point around he's been given good quality players now and he can't do it.
Right,
and
okay, fair enough.
Always saying we were arguing the same point.
Zach, you make a decision, mate.
Okay. Yeah, sure. So, oh God, is it?
It's Labrie. I think Frank is above Labrie, Herzler,
and Dyche.
And Dyche.
Yeah,
I really do.
And Rosenior.
And Rosenior. So I think you put Frank at the top of that, and then
Give it 6 months.
honestly can just...
No, I agree. But I think in terms of the context that we just judged it, of having like a team in the middle of the table that you want them to punch above their weight a little bit, I'd want Thomas Frank as my manager.
But
Frank has done a year.
I also
those-
think right now, I genuinely probably think Rosenior probably does better than Dyche does at this same club. Now.
Would you want
I think over
Rosenior
the
going into a
years-
relegation battle, telling everyone to wash their hands?
No,
And stuff?
but I think. I mean, it's what he did with
Build
Strasbourg.
Lego.
It's what he did with Strasbourg. I
Wipe
guess.
your
Like,
face.
Yeah, but the Premier League
but
is...
right now in the Premier League football now,
Yeah.
who do you back to keep up that Fulham side at Rosenior and Dyche? Or who do you put back to keep
it
that Fulham
depends.
side higher? Like, look at where that Dyche is in the Premier League now in the last few years. Hasn't actually
Probably
done a very good
Rosenior.
job.
Probably Rosenior.
The thing is, if we're Fulham and we're looking to go up here, and it's... I back Rosenior to take us higher, but then if we're like in a relegation
want
battle,
Dyche.
I back Dyche to keep us up. So it's
Yeah.
like, what do you value ultimately?
Yeah. Because look at Scott Parker.
Well,
What he,
make the
And
decision. Which one?
I think there is value in stability, which is part of the reason I'm putting Frank above all these guys. Is that he's taken a small team and stabilised them in the Premier League,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I think that has to be celebrated.
and that's the thing. Thomas Frank, as much like I said, I'm just for the third time. As much as I want him, he's not a bad manager. This will not change my opinion that he's not a good manager.
Ultimately, what's going to happen here is you're all going to see the final list, and you're going to be like, how can you put Sean Dyche as highly? If you listen to the reasoning and the podcast, then you might get something.
I'm Sean Dyche.
Yeah, but
Sean
I mean,
Dyche, absolutely
Hertzler's not a bad. It seems ridiculous to say Hertzler's like better than Sean Dyche, but he's got a team out of the Bundesliga too. It's like a team with low resources, and he has got a established style of football at Brighton and is
Yeah.
doing interesting things.
Okay, so
You make the decision, please. Zach.
So 12th is Thomas Frank, 13th is Herzler, 14th is Dyche, 15th Rosenior, 16th Daniel Farker, 17th Keith Andrews, 18th Parker, 19th Edwards, and 20th is Carrick.
That sounds okay to me. Yeah.
I don't hate it. Yeah, I don't hate it. And also, like,
Good.
in another 3 months, things can change.
I think it
slightly.
gets a lot easier now. To be honest.
Okay.
Moise.
So I guess we're looking now between Iriola, Silva, Moisey, Regis Lebris.
I think we got to. I'm surprised. I think Regis Lebris living a charmed life here.
Yeah.
I think he goes in right now.
Hold on a minute. Wait, is Labrie above Frank?
Yes.
No,
I'm not
no,
having
switch that round.
That's got to be
Switch
switched.
that round.
That's got to go.
Switch
It's
that
got
round.
to go, blood.
Okay, so
And I like Labrie, by the way, but again,
No, switch that
Labrie
round.
can't be above Frank.
Like, if he does it again next year, then I'm more than happy.
Oh, yeah.
But like right now, it's a no. It's
okay.
a-
So, oh my god, my spelling.
And people are going to go, oh, you've been saying you want Frank out for months. Like, this is different.
It's become a lot more of a general one than
Yeah.
what I said at the start of it being a specific for this season. But fine, whatever. Okay, so we are now looking at the likes of Moyes, Silva, Iriola, Glasner, Eddie Howe. as well.
No, Eddie Howe's not in the mixer yet.
Okay, so where do we go from there then? Glasner, obviously career-wise, won the FA Cup now with Palace.
We've got to look at Iriola.
Yeah,
I'm
I
sorry.
think so.
Obviously, nice, fun style of play. Did great things with Rayo Vallecano as well. But
done great things with Bournemouth.
done great things with Bournemouth. Obviously, it's a bit tricky right now, but I think we've got to take our like European glasses off sometimes, and we've got to just. I don't think you can't.
Would you prefer if okay? Back to the Fulham. This is what we always do.
Oh, no,
back to
but
Fulham.
I think
him
we
or
just-
Silva right now.
Silva.
As in,
No, Marco Silva's a better
Yeah.
manager than Iriola.
I agree. I think we should judge this rung of managers a little bit similar to like almost like can they then take the step up? I think this group of managers that we're looking at now, and I think Frank.
but would
could,
you not back Iriola to be the guy that
I'm
takes a
not-
step up more than?
That's my
Silva
point. That's
would?
what I think we should discuss. Like
Okay.
Frank. Frank kind of comes into a bit, but he's proved that the fact that he probably can't. Silva, Glasner, Iriola, because those three managers, well, two of them specifically, Iriola and Glasner get linked with a new job every single week. And Jamie Redknapp seemed to think that Iriola is an elite manager who should be every club in the world should be looking at, despite the fact that before beating Tottenham, they hadn't won 11 games. And the problems with his style of football kind of came to the fore. The fact that he's very chaotic, very transitional. Is that what big clubs want, or do they want control? Do they want more stability in games than that? So that is a red flag that holds against Iriola, despite the fact that I think his style is exciting. I like the fact that he has a clear identity, and I do think that is important if you're going to take that
Oh my god,
step
we
up.
haven't put in Nuno, by the way.
Oh my God.
Oh God, yeah.
Oh God.
I think it's because
I was looking at the list. I swear we're missing one. We've not chucked
Okay,
Nuno.
we'll cut.
Oh no.
come back to that. We'll come back to that quickly. Nuno.
Again, go for the list. Carrick, Edwards, Parker, Andrews, Farker, Rosenior, Dyche, Herzler, Regis Lebris, who is currently down as Rufus Lebis, Thomas Frank, and Iraola.
Who would you have higher, Frank or Nuno? Nuno got Wolves into Europe.
But I think
Context.
Nuno. But I think you know what you get with Nuno. Frank, I think
he's been
has
around the
evidently
block a bit
shown-
more. Yeah,
Frank has evidently shown that, like, well, at Spurs, he's not cut out for it. I mean, Nuno wasn't cut out for it at Spurs
Nuno's
either.
definitely not
But
cut out
Nuno,
for a big
you
job.
know that, like,
win
we
manager
can
month.
get Nuno in, and he can be a defensive-minded coach who wants to play on the break, and we can do our best at that. And he found that perfectly at Forest. Hasn't quite found that at West Ham so far. Not to say he won't and maybe manage to keep them up, but he hasn't.
I'd actually put Nuno.
Did a great job at Wolves.
there is a case
Did a
that I
great
think he
job
should
at
probably go
Wolves.
above Frank.
I think what he did at Wolves was pretty remarkable, even though they had way more money at the time. And again, like what he did do with that Forest side, and I don't think most of the Forest players wanted him to be sacked. Let's be honest. I do think if Edu hadn't gone in there, I think we might have seen a slight continuation, even though they were dropping off last year.
Yeah.
I think you got to put in Nuno.
I think Nuno just slots in now, doesn't he?
Yeah, so between Iraola
He's
and
above
Frank.
Lebris, isn't he?
Yeah,
He's above
yeah,
Lebris. Yeah, okay.
yeah.
But then he's above, but he's below Iraola.
Oh,
No, I don't know. I think he's done better in his career.
I think I'd probably have Iraola in next. I think Iraola is sexier and more exciting.
Yeah, this is the thing.
Iraola is more likely to get a top job than Nuno. I understand that, but I
So
still
Nuno
think
is
there'd be
the
big
ninth-
reservations about giving
Nuno is the
Iraola that big
ninth
job.
best manager in the league.
Yeah, but in terms of like what he's done and
Yep.
everything, the
Okay.
whole package. Yeah.
Well, when you say it like that, it doesn't sound great, does it?
Which would then mean that, as we were saying, so Silva, Glasner is probably the next two.
Moyes, Silva,
Moyes, Silva, Glasner are probably the next two, which would take us to
I think
8, 7, 6.
Glasner for the FA Cup just has to go above Silva, but
Yeah,
And
I
he also-
agree.
and he-
I
and
agree.
in
And Europa League.
Europa League
In Frankfurt,
like, did a
Yeah,
very good job there.
I'd fully like Eddie Howe. There's an argument that he's better than Eddie Howe in some ways, but
okay, I've got a question. David Moyes?
I love David Moyes. And look, I know Everton fans have been multiple times this season have
Okay.
said about sacking him.
In the modern game,
Yeah.
can
Yeah.
David Moyes be above Marco Silva and Oliver Glasner? I'm not sure he can, personally. Because I feel like maybe with these kind of managers, I do feel like we need where they are in the league and where their pedigree is. Do we need to judge them
what?
through the lens of can they take that step
Yeah.
up? That's what I was saying with Iraola. I'd rather have. I think Moyes goes in above Iraola because of what he's proven in the game and that kind of thing. And I still think it's early days for Iraola as a manager generally, not just in the Prem. Silva's been around the block for ages. Glasner's been around the block for ages. Won a European trophy.
Glasner is ahead of
won an
Moyes
FA
to
Cup.
me. Glasner, I think of
I
those
think
three,
Silva is ahead of
Glasner
Moyes
is-
as well, personally.
I like what I'm hearing. You know, I like Marco Silva.
Maybe that's harsh on David Moyes.
But let's think about that same. I know it's very different Everton sides.
Moyes goes
Very
above
different
Nuno,
Everton sides.
definitely.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like Moyes being 8th is not bad. Like, let's remember he took over that Everton side that were doing awful under Dyche and got them some stability. And
You were
then-
telling me that some of the Everton fans want him gone.
Yeah, they do. Everton fans can't make their mind up with
Honestly,
Moyes because when they lose,
You're saying they should be careful what they wish for, a bit like West Ham.
but when they lose, they are like poor. But he can have the Everton side.
They're
popping
dreadful at
it
home,
down.
but they're all right away. It's
Yeah.
weird, isn't it?
Okay. I think Moyes.
I think France.
I think Marco Silva is a little bit high here, but
Nice, mate. He's an elite manager.
he's a very good manager. He is a very good manager, and like, you know what, mate, he has kind of maybe he stayed at Fulham for like a season too long.
I'm not sure I'd want him at my club, but I think that's just because of the chaos that he might bring. But I think he's a good manager, man.
I mean, look. The thing is that Fulham is he's had multiple years. He is the guy. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And it shows that if you actually invest in a manager and give them time and space to implement their ideas,
Yeah.
then it is a success.
Also, he's had
And
very little actual proper investment really in the team. A lot of your business has come late in windows. You've not backed them at the right times. It's all been a bit like he's a manager that I'd have concerns about going to a bigger team, obviously, but I think he still. It's a bit like Frank. Like I think that Frank deserved the step up, and I think Silva deserves the step
Yeah, but
up.
we
again for what
play
he's done.
better. We play better football than
You do.
Thomas Frank's side.
Yeah,
And,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
You only
that
have
is
to
true.
look at Fulham's
No, I'm
records.
talking generally. Like, but you are right.
Fulham's record against big teams is testament to the fact that like Fulham have become under Silver. We've become a bogey team for all the top five because it's like,
to be fair, so were Brentford.
You genuinely have to turn up and beat us. No, I think in a different way. Well, I just think our style of football is slightly better. But
No, I agree with that. Silver plays better football than Frank does.
But Glasner's above Silver.
Yes.
Yeah. Glasner is above. I mean,
agree.
Glasner's won the FA Cup and he's won the Europa League.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, so that then leaves us Eddie Howe, Pep Guardiola, Unai Emery, Arne Slot, and Mikel Arteta.
Well, Eddie Howe's next.
Yeah. I don't think that's too crazy. I was just trying to think of who
I
said in my head.
I don't think there's loads to say on Eddie Howe. I think he's clearly a very good manager, a very good motivator. Has taken Newcastle to another level. Won a trophy. I think there's limitations to his game. I think maybe are they starting to come to the end of the cycle potentially under him?
Is Eddie Howe above Oliver Glasner, in your opinion?
Oh, that's a good question. Yes, I think just. Oh, I don't know.
I think Eddie Howe, he's obviously won the trophy now, at least a trophy with the Carabao. Like,
that's true, actually. I forgot about
Newcastle's... but it's also... But I think what limits Glasner is I feel like I could see... Like, you think of the football-wise, you can see an Eddie Howe team playing and have done in ways with Newcastle, but you can see Eddie Howe's team eventually being able to play, if he took the step up, whatever it is, from Newcastle, if there is a step up from Newcastle, you could see his team playing like a ball-dominant style of football, which I guess is where people look at the top managers doing. I don't know if you can see a Glasner team doing that. Maybe there are certain scenarios where
I'm not sure I can see either.
Maybe we've never seen Glasner have the opportunity properly. But
I'm not sure I could see either, to be honest.
maybe the Frankfurt side weren't like
Frankfurt? Maybe.
Glasner is further ahead in his career. I think that's fair enough to say.
Yeah.
Like, Glasner's been at it a little bit longer. Glasner is
I don't know.
further ahead in his career, being able to have managed in Germany as well.
How long's Glasner been?
Wolfsburg, Eintracht. There's definitely an Austrian team.
Yeah, but he's been managing like better clubs. Like before Newcastle, it was Bournemouth and Burnley for Eddie Howe.
Oh, that's a bit rude.
Well, yeah. When you look at like 2019, Wolfsburg is when Eddie Howe was probably managing Bournemouth.
Eddie Howe was Bournemouth manager in 2015.
Yeah, but this is also the Bournemouth side that were relegation guys. Not
But
Wolfsburg.
Eddie Howe's been managing longer than Glasner, like quite significantly longer.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm on about like the level of club that Glasner's been managing at compared to Eddie Howe.
Yeah, but it was also like the Premier
Like,
League.
Wolfsburg is bigger than Bournemouth.
But Eddie Howe kept Bournemouth in the Premier League before they first got relegated for 4 years.
Yeah.
I want to say.
No, I don't know.
Done
if I
a
agree with
great
that
job at
necessarily.
Newcastle. I think Eddie Howe. I think he's better manager than Glasner.
Oh, there it is.
So I said it, guys. I'm sorry. I think it's tough. I mean, who cares? I mean, not who cares. Let us know in the comments.
That's
But
the Patrick Van Straten approach.
it's a toss. No, yeah. I think it's 6-1 half done as whatever cliche you want to say.
Okay. All right. We'll leave it as it is. Howe, then Glasner. Okay. So I think it then puts it between. It's Pep Guardiola's first, isn't it? Like,
Yeah.
It's Pep's first is where it's done. But then it leaves the other positions between Arne Slot, Unai Emery, and Arteta.
I will die on this
Arteta's
hill that
second.
I think Emery second.
Really?
Yeah.
I think it's close. I think
He's won so much as a manager. He's got a smaller budget to work with. I know that Arteta.
Arteta has completely turned Arsenal around.
Like,
I know with a lot of money.
Again, what I was saying about the Marco Silva thing, he is an example that if you just invest in someone and if you give them time and you don't make knee-jerk Chelsea level reactions, then you will see the proof. Like,
Yeah, but sometimes you need to make those. Like, I don't know.
Look,
you give them Arteta time.
I think he has constantly been able to plug a hole with a big signing during his time at Arsenal in a way that Aston Villa haven't been able
I
to.
don't know. I mean, as much as I want to slag off Arsenal, they
It
spent a
took
lot of money,
years,
but
man.
like it took, and also
had to get rid of Mustafi, David Luiz.
what like big signings did Arteta
Lacazette.
make until they bought Declan Rice? Like big signings, and that came off the back of one title challenge where they'd
Smart with
he didn't buy
Saliba.
Arteta.
Smart with
Arteta didn't buy Pepe.
Smart with when they bought in Saliba. Smart with when they bought in Gabriel.
Yeah.
All right, look, I'm not going to. Look,
I think it's close. I think you can make the argument for either because
No,
at the end
it's
of
a
the day,
good
Arteta's
debate.
won fuck all.
So is
Well,
Slot
he's
below?
won FA Cup,
Is
actually.
Arne Slot below them despite winning the Premier League? Despite winning the Premier League.
yeah.
Oh, mate, he did really.
Exactly. It's just, sometimes it's just a feeling. It's just like, you know,
No.
I feel it in my
just
plums.
smell it in the wind. Yeah.
Look, I guess if Arteta wins Premier League this season, it would be easier for me to say Arteta.
And I think he's probably going to. So I think you can make the argument for either Emery or Arteta. I think it's definitely slot fourth, one of them two, and then Pep.
Okay, slot into fourth.
Emery's got European pedigree, has done it at different clubs, has punched above his weight. He's got Aston Villa back to being not title challenger anymore, but Champions League challenger with limited resources. But I still don't think, despite that doesn't take away from what Arteta has done, and he has got them close every single year. Premier League, Champions League, that last year as well.
He has made Arsenal
terrific manager.
He's returned Arsenal to being a giant. He's returned Arsenal to being a giant, which
looks very far away from when he took over.
Yeah, and I guess in this day and era, it is hard. But I think Unai Emery is just. I just think he's amazing.
He is amazing.
Though he did lose his head on the weekend.
Michael Bizzle.
It's tough because I guess right now at this point it's whether you want trophies or not. And how much your manager wins
Neither
trophies.
of them have delivered that at their clubs.
Not at Villa. Not at Villa. I've taken on.
But when's it going to be about trophies? I'm not going to go down this path again. But when's it going to be about trophies for Aston Villa? They haven't won a trophy since the 80s. But it was Tottenham's biggest trophy drought.
Villa were. I remember watching Villa lose to Fulham in the Championship playoff at Wembley in 2018.
Also, Villa were a Champions League contender side in the mid-2000s and in the early teens.
Just like there's not loads of trophies to win every year, and there's so big clubs just hoovering them up. I don't understand this.
Oh, but when it's Tottenham, that's different. That's what I mean. I'm not going down this road again.
Unai Emery or Mikel Arteta. It's really difficult. Especially given the fact that Unai Emery didn't succeed at Arsenal.
I'm going to say Arteta, you're going to say Emery, and then I think that gives you the deciding vote. But I also think it could be Emery. I don't really care. I mean, they're both really good managers.
Yeah, I think painstakingly, for the Premier League's top managers, it's Arteta.
I think it's unfortunately it's super duper Mick.
I think it is Arteta.
I just fucking hate him. The old Lego. Stupid. Getting you back in your technical area.
The old Lego head. Isn't it?
Yeah.
Get back in your technical area now.
I'll propose a question.
Yeah.
Eddie Howe solo or Eddie Howe with Tyndall? Does that change the
Tyndall annoys me. Get rid of him ASAP.
I love him. I think he's so funny.
Stand Jason Tyndall.
I think he's class.
Carrick with Woodgate.
Woodgate, yeah.
Can I say about
Wally
Carrick?
with Carrick.
Carrick, I fully back him. Not talking to Keane, but I fully back him refusing.
It's just
to
like
no.
It's just Roy Keane, though, isn't it?
That little mafia of Man United ex-pundits need to learn that they.
Yeah, but people just love it when it's not against their team. I thought it's a bit rich. People being like, "Oh, Roy Keane, what's he done?" This has been Roy Keane all the time. You can't love him when he's taking the mick out of
he is box office.
Somebody else's team, and then when it's finally your team.
I found the Nicky Butt and Paul Scholes stuff a bit more really. And then Nicky Butt telling Martinez after the game to fucking grow up as well.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that one more.
I agree. Yeah, Roy Keane is what Roy Keane is. Roy Keane's wrong on I think a lot of the stuff he says, but I just
that class of '98, whatever, are beginning to morph into just some bitter drunk ex.
What they hated.
And it's just
do you know what I'd love to see? Next time United inevitably go through this cycle again and sack another manager in 2 years' time, give Gary Neville the job. I would love to see
get
that.
those gimps in.
Put your money.
I didn't realise they just didn't get on with Carrick. I didn't realise they were like that.
I don't get why though.
Yeah, and it's so obvious
after them. But because even though he did play with Neville, he never played with Keane, and he was a bit after.
Well, he replaced Keane, didn't he? Really?
Well, yeah, I guess so.
Played more times in the Prem than Roy Keane.
It's a weird one that I never quite understood. There's a weird thing I think with the media actually and the punditry. I feel like about 3 years ago, for a span of 8 years or 10 years, media and football lost a bit of its control.
Yeah.
And that there was never that much of an impact for what was said in the media.
Now it feels
I feel like maybe last 3 or 4 years, and now, especially now, we've seen a big impact on what, say, the likes of Carragher or what the likes of Neville, and whether it be on his podcast or whether it be on whatever, say and how that can impact a club.
I also think
and a player.
I think a lot of it as well, like with the overlap and stuff like that with the fan debate, because they bring fans in. I think it's kind of more a little bit what people want as well. So I think when Carragher says something on there, like the amount of things that Carragher said that have gone massive off of the back of that, or like those kind of things. So I think people are a bit more in tuned back in now to what pundits are going to say and stuff.
I agree. But it's funny. Like, I agree. Roy Keane was kind of not nice.
What were they trying to say about Carrick's wife?
Years ago, basically,
she's got a big mouth.
She's
got a big mouth.
After a game, Roy Keane criticised Michael Carrick performance.
Right.
And she then on Twitter, this is years ago when Carrick was playing for United, basically was like said like that Roy Keane needs to shut up, with a few swear words in there, along those lines. And then he brought it up on the podcast, basically. I don't know if you mentioned it before.
What a childish thing for him to do, like all these years later. To bring
Why are you holding on?
He's always been like this. Like people were laughing when he was like taking the mick out of Al Holland recently. He were joking about it.
Beardy.
But now it's like Carrick and everyone are like, oh my God, that's outrageous. He's always been like this.
People have to.
Yeah, that's a good point.
People have to wake up to the fact. Just because they used to play for United, their affinity now is to the employer and to the success of the shows that they're on. Like they're there to get clicks. They're not there to. And this is what I find so funny.
For instance, Roy Keane is like, I'm going to say this because it's going to do like. I think Roy Keane is just saying his opinion.
Yeah.
But coincidentally, because of him and because of how he says it and because of his history in punditry, it lands so much heavier.
Like
if Redknapp said it.
I'm telling you, like if Wayne Rooney had been given that job, I don't think you'd be seeing anywhere near the levels of. They'd be like, go in there, see what you can do.
Yeah, you're right.
But there's very evidently
The Steve Holland thing, for instance, was weird.
There's a coldness. There's a coldness towards Michael Carrick from that group of
Well, it
guys.
seems like they didn't get on.
He absolutely should not be given a full-time contract. Whatever he does, make sure it's absolutely stone clear that we're moving away. Like, I'm sorry, if he wins 20 games in a row, like
that's the thing. I agreed with Neville's logic, but there also is a world in which you can't not give it to him.
Yeah,
I do think Neville. I think Neville meant it more as that logic point of view, not because of like a hatred.
I also think Neville really cares about United, whereas I don't think Keane actually does. And I think that's why Neville sometimes ties himself up in knots and contradicts himself, like a lot of fans do, because I think it comes from a place of being a fan.
Yeah,
if you know what I mean, we all do that. Everyone contradicts it. Football makes hypocrites out of absolutely everyone. And Neville has contradicted himself in quite a lot of the stuff that he said, but I think he almost gets himself too wrapped up in it because he cares too much.
Yeah, I mean, people
Whereas
say
Keane,
the same sometimes about
him.
Carragher on commentary when he watches Liverpool.
Yeah.
You know, people get, I think, sometimes quite frustrated about it. They say the exact same about Neville on commentary about United. It's an interesting debate. I mean, the point I was going to make was, Roy Keane was after he was making a point. Neville had mentioned that he's happy that he's brought in Steve Holland with his dugout. And Roy Keane was like, okay, what about the other two? Because he's brought in Woodgate and
Johnny Evans.
Yeah,
because he was saying Johnny Evans was at the...
He was making a big point about like, what have they done? What have they done? Why do they come
What
in
on
and
earth
make
does
a
he know
difference?
about? Like, at the end of the day...
What, Roy Keane, the manager?
No, that's it. Well, I know he was
I
manager.
get his point. I kind of agree to him the fact of like, why, Steve Holland, great appointment. What are Johnny Evans?
Yeah, but you have no idea what Michael Carrick's networks
Carrick,
are.
I've got no problem with, but like Woodgate.
But didn't Carrick work with Woodgate?
No, yeah.
I've never seen any other manager get criticised for their like backroom staff.
Yeah, normally it's just
like
an interim appointment.
Normally it's just like so-and-so's joined from a foreign club. He's bringing with Gianluigi Bonucci, who used to be the it's just like, all right, sure. No one ever suddenly, because it's like some well-known names and it's like, oh wait, I just think it's
especially
like,
as
what are you on about?
Especially as an interim manager.
I kind of see a little bit of Roy Keane's point because I think he's on about the fact that this is meant to be Manchester United and
this is Manchester United,
and they shouldn't be just giving people who've never had a job before a job. But in the same sense, like
Johnny Evans is still clearly hugely respected by that club. He wouldn't have earned another contract after West Brom if he wasn't. Woodgate, whether you like it or not, has managed to a level. It might not be that high, but like Steve McLaren was the number 2 at United for ages. No one really seems to bat an eyelid about that. And like Woodgate, he's played for Real Madrid. He does get it a bit. He's played for like some big clubs. It just and then Steve
also
won the League Cup for Tottenham.
But also would understand actually from a media perspective, like when he scored the own goal, didn't he, on his Real Madrid debut?
And got sent off. It was like the worst debut of all time.
Like, my God, he'll know how to like deal with.
Steve Holland's just been number 2 for Gareth Southgate in like
a very successful era.
A very successful era. Like,
I don't think his problem was around Steve Holland, to be fair, but it was the other stuff. But he started well, Michael Carrick, getting the win against Man City.
We've put Michael Carrick 20th on this list. I fucking love him to be like higher. Like, I really,
but this is what
Marco Silva's contract.
We can change this maybe at the end of the season.
Silva's contract, I think, is maybe up at the end of the year. I don't know if he's decided to renew. Anyway, that Palace job will be over at the end of the year. I'd love to see Carrick like put him
home.
It was us for 2 years.
Bring him home.
But he fucking went to Man United like all of our other players did in that era. Sheringham, Berbatov.
What is our final list then?
Okay, yes, our final list from bottom to top. Michael Carrick in 20th, Rob Edwards, Scott Parker, Keith Andrew, Daniel Farker, Liam Rosenior in 15th, Sean Dyche, Herzler, again, Rufus Labise, as I put him in here, followed by Tuaz Frank. It was autocorrect, guys. But yeah, in 10th, Iraola, 9th, Nuno, 8th, Moyes, 7th, Marco Silva. 6th, Glasner. 5th, Eddie Howe. 4th, Slot. 3rd, Unai Emery. 2nd, Mikel Arteta. And number 1, Pep Guardiola.
God, we're going to get slammed for that.
Yeah, it's
None of those. Like,
it is what it is, guys.
When I put that list out, none of you were like, "I've got to change that right now." None of those.
Carrick is harsh being bottom, I think, but I understand it.
Yeah,
I think maybe I don't know.
Where would you have interest if Ollie had got the job? Where would you have put Ollie in that list?
higher. Yeah, 1,000,000% higher. The 20th. The guy finished 2nd with Manchester United.
No, I know, but
This is Manchester United.
This is Manchester, yeah.
But where is that? Where is in our grand?
See, but I meant it as a negative thing.
Yeah,
that
it's just Manchester United.
in our list of shifting logic, where's coming second?
I think Ollie.
Good point. That's a great point.
I think Ollie would have been like
Dyche is more.
ninth.
Dyche has got to go.
Ninth.
Yeah,
Ollie
I'd
would
say
have been
mid-table. Yeah, I'd say
Ninth.
mid-table.
Maybe.
Mate, just got binned off by Bajic. Ass.
Yeah. Okay, guys. Let us know what you think of that list. I'm interested.
Leave us alone, all right?
And leave your list down below. I don't think it's easy. And use the logic actually of what we did end up going down, or if you're taking a little bit of what they have done previously into account.
Yeah.
Because I don't think that's easy whatsoever.
Can I say, if you're going to comment, don't do this like, oh, that's a massive flop, that's a massive error.
Yeah.
Get your reasoning.
Yeah.
It actually
Exactly.
explain. I hate it when people leave comments that are like, that is absolutely mental that you've said this, blah,
Yeah.
blah, blah, that is mental.
Well,
It's
what you said then?
well, yeah, what's your, yeah, go on, explain it then.
Why don't you come on this podcast and do it?
Come on.
Ben
Maybe
and I
we'll
will
do a
call you
podcast.
out.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll do a podcast actually when I'm back from skiing, where what we'll do is it will be us three versus the fan who will set up over there, and they can just like say their point and that's wrong. And what
That's a
we
good
said.
idea, actually.
Oh,
Yeah,
debate the
I'll
pod
say.
could be quite good.
Yeah, debate the pod.
Could be like
Okay.
Dragon's Den, but
Well,
yeah.
okay. If you guys want to be involved in that, head over, leave a comment and head over to my socials. Let me know, just like we do with all the 20v1s. We'll try and set that up. And we'll get
3v1.
like, 10 of you down or something like that.
I like
10
that.
minutes per debate the pod. It's quite good. Yeah. Oh, look at that.
I like
Creativity flowing. Copyrighted. You cannot steal that.
Yeah.
Anybody watching, all those people out there. Guys, thank you so much for joining me. A little bit of a shorter episode, but still not too far from an hour. Hope you guys at home have enjoyed it. Henry Hill, is people want to check you out? Where can they go?
I really don't mind.
We need to start uploading to your channel.
Do it. Do it. Do it.
I know you don't believe it, but I actually have quite a busy week. I'm doing. So far, almost 800 of you have subscribed to my YouTube channel. Let's get that to 1,000, and I'll treat you with a video. How about that?
Nice. Nice. I like that.
You?
YouTube would be nice. Nearly at 20k. If you could help me get there, that'd be nice. I think I'm on 17,200. So, that'd be great. So go and subscribe to YouTube. I mean, if you're not a Tottenham fan, there's probably no point, to be fair.
But you can also
Go to TikTok then, because I
Hate
make
watch.
other
You
football.
hate watch.
Yeah, you can hate watch me on YouTube if you like, if you're not a Spurs fan, or go and follow me on TikTok where I spoke about everything. So,
Indeed.
All the best.
Yes, guys, please subscribe to the channel. I'll also collab this with my second channel, More Zach Jellop, which you guys can follow as well and subscribe to that. And we'll see you guys next week. Bye.